Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformation. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I am your host, Master Resilient Implementer, speaker, business position strategist, and international best-selling author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 9 countries. So whether the first time joining us or you've been listening to us for some time, I want to thank you to those who are listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here, we tell the stories why we're doing what we're doing. We highlight that transformation moment that changed our lives and how we use it to transform others and elevate their lives as well. Listen to us live right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. Join our Facebook Life Transformation Radio community and never miss an episode by subscribing where you listen to podcasts. Life Transformation Radio can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Springer, Spotify, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Castbox, iHeartRadio, Google Music or Google Podcasts, and are available on Pandora. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Life Transformation Radio. And if you feel so inclined, while you're subscribing, go ahead and leave us a rating or review to let us know how well we're doing. On the show, my guests are entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, coaches, podcasters, authors, amazing human beings that are impacting the world around them. And my guest today does exactly that. If you have any questions for any of the guests during our live broadcast, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, join us by calling in at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. You can go ahead and call in and ask the guest a question for himself. A question. My name is standing by to field those calls. And with that, please help me welcome to the show my guest for today, and welcome to Life Transformation Radio.
Hi, Sean. What a pleasure to be here with you and your listeners today. Thank you for having me.
I am super pumped, super excited to have you on the show. We've spent quite a lot of time together the past month, and I'm excited to dig into why that is and into why you are the downsizing coach. So happy to have you.
I'm sorry, repeat your question, Sean? All right, well, I'm going to start off with sharing with your viewers. I'm an auctioneer, a realtor, and a personal property appraiser. I was having a little hard time hearing you, but, I have a passion for doing what we do and really expanding on the journey and sharing the content and my life experiences as a product designer and with having had a television show on Home Shopping Network with my sister for over a decade. It was an incredible experience. So it's taught us so much, and I think Chapter 2 has even taught us more. So. Sean? Hey, Sean?
All right, I'm back. Ann, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome back.
How do I get kicked out of my own show? That's kind of weird. The Air Force Internet, let me tell you. Okay, so I wanted to say that I'm very grateful to have you on the show. And luckily that, we've been spending some time together, and I can't wait to dig into why that is. And that title of this episode is Downsizing Your Home and Life with the Downsizing Coach, Ann Nouri. So, Ann, I'm going to dive in right quick to the bio, which is, it's a who's who of who's who, really. I mean, you've done amazing work over the years. You are an experienced realtor, an auctioneer, personal property, and neuroscience at the University of Pittsburgh. Continued studying at Harvard University while managing a successful business in Boston. With a passion for new challenges, and attended the prestigious Missouri Auction School, and continues to expand her knowledge with participation in national and international conferences and networking with the very best in the auction field, real estate, marketing, and technology. And believes that knowledge, passion, expertise, and integrity are elements to building relationships in order to properly represent sellers and organizations for successful auction events. These exact characteristics were the very reason why for over a decade, Ann and her sister were regularly invited on television networks worldwide, NBC, Home Rodgers Network in Canada, TVSN in Australia, and Ideal World, which is in England, for her successful home decor brand, which sells over $100 million worldwide. With a love and passion for helping clients reach their goals, Ann has the expertise and knowledge in place to turn auctions into highly publicized and attended events. Her new show, Downsizing Your Home and Life radio show, is now a platform. She brings on industry experts to discuss where to begin, how to sort and monetize stuff, value, as well as the moving process. You can subscribe to her new show, Downsizing Your Home and Life Radio, right there on Apple Podcasts. The link is right there. And go to her website, the Downsizing Coach.com. Send request on your favorite social media platform. You listened to her episode of Life Transformation Radio. The first question I have to ask, and question is why? Why do you do what you do?
I think that that's such a loaded question. And I think we all walk our path, and eventually one day we wake up and I'm like, and it all kind of makes sense, because as you read through my bio, I've done so many different genres and things, and they're all interconnected. But at the point where I was a realtor, an appraiser, an auctioneer, and I was going into clients' homes, and a lot of our clients in the Northern Virginia, Maryland, D.C. market are, government agencies. A lot of them are finishing one career in the public sector and maybe going into the private sector. And while I was, consulting them on the real estate, there was always a conversation about the personal assets. And because I was a designer and manufactured home decor for 25 years in Italy and in Asia, I knew just as much, if not more, about the home decor as much as the real estate. So it always developed into a further conversation. And from there, I became so exhausted from hearing, in our day of technology and everyone going out and telling people that their stuff is really worthless, and that, when they come to downsize, there's a process A, B, and C. And if they do these simple steps, they're going to achieve their goals. Where you bring someone like me in, and, who I know that a vase on a shelf somebody brought back from Vietnam, from 50 years ago could be a collectible, or the fact that, somebody wants to put in an extra $75,000 and updating an area of the home may not be recoupable for them. So it depends on all these kind of things working together for it to kind of make sense for the best financial position for a seller to be in. So it's really analyzing, walking through, consulting sellers on their different asset classes and their best options to monetize them.
I think what attracted my wanting to work with you, and I was like, oh my God, this is like a must-have, have is I used to buy storage units at auction, and when I heard you were an auction, I was like, oh no, okay, I'm in.
Oh, wow.
You had me at hello. Like,
and you're so knowledgeable, Sean. It always impresses me how much you know a little bit about everything.
I can't do one thing. Everybody says I gotta do one thing. Gotta do one thing. No.
No,
nope, I don't want to do one thing.
No, you don't. You're good at a lot of things.
I loved it when I was buying storage units at auction, and I would price things, and I'm like, wow, how much? And like learning about history, and then shows like American Pickers would come out, whether it's real or fake or whatever, I don't care. But it was just it was cool that they had like history behind the items. I'm like, oh, I love that. And then I would go to like farm auctions and estate sales and garage sales, flea markets, like, I mean, really high level organized auctions. And I got to see the everything that, you know, like behind the scenes and how everything works. It was fascinating how it works.
It really is. It really is. And you know, even though we've had a shift in the last 10 years from on-site live auctions to more online or simulcast auctions, it's still such an incredible part of the fabric of our culture and our society to have auctions and to be part of them. And, you know, things kind of work upwards and, you know, what is value? What is retail value? And it's amazing how the common question that I'm asked is, how is it possible for something to start low and achieve the value that it does? Well, you put a lot of different interested people in the same room on something that they like, and emotions and different things come into play, and people will pay what they want to pay for that item. And that's the beauty and the magic of an auction. And it's great for the sellers. It's great for the buyer. Everyone's in control of what they want to see happen. And it works. It's just a dynamic that works very, very well.
I learned a very, very valuable, hard, humbling lesson in the auction business. And that is what
Don't keep your hand up the whole time.
Right. What I think an item is worth, because I love the band Kiss, and I found a Kiss lunchbox one time. I wanted to sell that Kiss lunchbox for a ton of money, but it was only worth like $50, and I was kind of upset about that. But I had to learn a very, very valuable lesson. What I think about what the value of something is worth, because it's a huge piece of my childhood, has no bearing on what the market will pay for something. So I learned that sentimental value is zero.
Yes, when you put it in that way, it is. But at the same time, it's interesting. One person's trash can be another person's treasure. I love that statement as well, right? So what somebody feels is insignificant could be an incredibly important item that somebody else has been searching for, or they wanted to add to their collection. So there's really a home for everything and anything. But in the aspect of, you know, what we got involved in is really the dynamics of downsizing. And we work with a lot of clients that are, you know, luxury properties. They have the means, and they need to kind of figure out what are they going to do with all this stuff, you know, that they've had around them. And they might go from a 3,000, 5,000, 8,000 square foot home to a 2 or 3 bedroom property that's anywhere from 1,100 to 1,800 square feet, or a townhome. And how do you downsize all of that, right? There's some decisions to be made. And we all know about the brown furniture, and we all know what I call the world of Pottery Barn and, you know, West Elm and all of the new decor that's in, right? So how do you figure out all of it? So there's a lot of pain, and I always consult sellers, you know, that are considering what they should do. There's something fresh. There's something great about turning the page. And there's a way of finding a solution for your items. There's a way of creating a roadmap as to what you want your new home or your vision to be for your new life. It could be downsizing. It could be living in a different space, and you could even stay in the same town, but you're just changing, you know, the home or the environment you're in, or you could be moving closer to your kids, or you might be interested in living by the beach and having a more cottagey, beachy lifestyle, right? Whatever that is, everybody requires to have a roadmap and a vision. And you know, you need to close your eyes, think about what you want that vision to be for your new life. And then, you know, you sit down with the right professionals, and we sit down with clients, and then we evaluate, this is your starting point, if this is your ending point, and then you put a certain action steps in place and help them reach their goal, because anything is possible.
100%. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, you know what, but what I find is that sometimes people spend more time deciding on what they want to order for dinner than what they truly care about and what they want their future to look like. So, you know, when you have a conversation, people just stare at you like, right? But it's such an interesting, fun process that I just love inspiring and talking to people. And the purpose for us really to start this show is for people to start releasing their imagination and start painting this portrait. And my job is really to give them a blank canvas and allow them to start painting this new painting of what they want their new life to look like. And that's the exciting part about the aha of all of this is, you know, giving them the blank sheet and saying, go at it, create what you want this to look like. And they somehow start to think about it differently, and they approach it differently, and they kind of unleash and start having these conversations and these thoughts that 30 minutes earlier did not exist. And they had called me there to sell their home, right? They kind of had it figured out. They kind of knew what they were going, but it wasn't a painting yet. It wasn't, you know, a final finished product to say, this is how we're going to create the certain action plans to kind of get us to what we want this new vision to be.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. If you could, for me, I had the pleasure of listening to your show before live anybody and editing the show. You told a story, and you can share if you'd like, but you told a story about going to somebody's house just to check it out, maybe as a favor, maybe as, you know, whatever. And there just happened to be some things sitting on the shelf that you're like, do you know what these are worth? Like, right?
So that
stuck out to me.
It's so true, though. But Sean, it happens all the time. So I was conducting an open house, and the neighbors had come in to visit the listing, and you know, we started chatting. They were building a home in Florida. They asked, you know, they mentioned their home was going to be completed in 12 to 18 months if I would come in and visit with them after the open house, because she wanted to show me her home. And I said, let's be mindful about what you spend, because it was in one of those neighborhoods where they're starting to knock down properties and build new ones. So I wanted them to, you know, be mindful about how much money they're going to be sinking into the property. Even though it was $1 million+ home. So I went to visit with them. She's giving me a tour. You know, they're redoing the jacuzzi. They're redoing their kitchen and all of these other things. And I walk into the living room, and there was a low bookshelf, and in the corner of my eye, I just saw these fabulous blue and white Asian Bombay vase. And I asked her, what are those? And she said, oh, don't worry about those. Those are kind of the giveaways, the sendaways kind of items. And I said, what do you mean? What is that? She said, well, my daughter's friend had, and is an agent, and had told her that the items are really worthless, anything in the home, nobody really wants it, to do a modern decor, and that they should kind of get rid of everything. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, my goodness. So I said, do you mind if I pick it up? She said, no, not at all. It was a pair, and I've already given one to the Salvation Army, and this is the other one. And I pick it up, and I look at the markings and thump. My heart, sinks because it had the markings of what I thought it potentially could have, and it was potentially anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 for the vases that that were separated. I felt these orphaned. It was orphaned because one was given away, and the other one. And I'm like, what do I possibly say? Do I let her in as to what she's done? I said, could you just hold on to this one and not give it away? Can we start a new pile? But that is the type of situations that we kind of get into, and right when we walk with clients and we talk with people and they're like, this isn't worth anything, or potentially when I'm called in from a family in an estate situation, the kids have inherited or family members have inherited an estate and they have no idea what's there. They don't know the valuations. Or it's within a divorce. He's like, honey, you take grandma's dishes, and I'll take the Picasso. It's a fair trade-off. Grandma bought it in France, many, many years ago. So there's always content and conversation and valuation. And really valuation is, like you said, a matter of what something is willing to trade for and what someone's willing to sell and what someone's willing to pay on that specific day and point in time. So that really becomes the value of the item.
That story cuts deep.
It really does. You're right. It does. So I always say, consult with a professional before you start going. Salvation Army, happy.
Right. Oh, they were super pumped. I had to learn buying storage units. Like I had to learn that.
Right.
So the show was about transformation. What is your transformational moment that changed your life and put you on the path to what you're doing today?
I'll tell you, I was a product designer for many years, porcelain, crystal, home decor for our family business and for obviously our television shows. So we created 10 different collections. Imagine a clothing designer designs 2 collections a year, spring, summer, and a fall. But as a home decor for the network, I was creating, anywhere between 8 to 10 collections a year for, Mother's Day, 4th of July, festive, Easter, graduation, fall harvest, for Christmas in July. So we were pumping out a lot of designs, a lot of content, and it really becomes the fabric of who you are. And after many years, we had taken our productions from, Europe and from Poland and Europe and Italy and Spain, and then we transitioned as the Euro came into Asia and the Far East, which we were talking about earlier, and we had our offices there. It was, the dynamics were changing, the skill set, the quality that we were producing. A lot of these small workshops started to close. And as these small workshops around the world started to close and create the product that I was, it's not I, it was we, my sister and I were producing at the time and were, happy to put our name, our Sorelli name on it, were diminishing and everything was quickly changing. So that's when I decided, what, we weren't celebrities, but we were asked to conduct and, help with events and nonprofit events. And at one of them, I was inspired to go to auction school because they needed to raise a lot of funds. And I thought, wow, this is an incredible experience. So I went to auction school, and very shortly after that, my sister was getting married, and I realized I had a suitcase, one for, euros, and I had one for Asian currencies because it requires different plugs, it requires different currency, it requires different types of dress, right? So I had different suitcases for different continents, and I thought, what, this is not a way. We've done it for a decade. This is enough. So we kind of parked the plane, rolled it into the real estate, rolled it into the auctioneering, and wow, was it I don't want to say you kind of burned the bridge, but it changes because there was a moment in time where people asked me, what do you do? And I couldn't even identify with who or what I was doing because I had that it was such an important part of my life, you know, to be that designer, to create that. It just wasn't authentic, and it took some time, and the power of seeing that you are doing good, the knowledge and the experience that you have is impacting and is helpful to others, that it kind of escalated. And from there, I went and you know, studied further. I think, as my sister says, you're the studious one. I always like to be in school, and I like to have those letters after my name. So I went back and became a personal property appraiser. And it really became full circle when I started to do that and work with a lot of attorneys and law firms, and for helping their clients, was I able to use everything then that I've known from my past of product design to being in real estate to, you know, the personal asset side and the auction side, right? So I was able to bundle all of it, and it felt so darn good. That you could help people solve this complicated puzzle within an hour and a half conversation, 2-hour conversation, where people might have been stuck for 3 months, 6 months, a year.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Wow. I'm trying to wrap my head around that. You literally have a conversation with someone who's been stuck for up to a year.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How?
And,
like,
you know,
like how?
When again, you ask the right questions, right? So the key in the skill set is asking the right questions, helping them to dissect and figure out what it is that they want, evaluating, taking some time, evaluating where they are, what their current circumstances are. And, you know, once you have a start point, an end point, and you figure out what the blockage is, right, what the blockage in that artery is for them. Is it their job that's holding them back? Is it finances? Is it that they have a family member? Is it health? Is it a divorce? Emotional? So there's a lot of different reasons why people are stuck. And sometimes they don't even see it that way, and they don't realize it. But without having a clear path of where you're going, how are you going to get there? If I told you, Sean, where are we going tomorrow? Without us even having a conversation, let's say you say, let's go have lunch tomorrow. And I'm like, give me directions. How is it possible for you to give me directions when we haven't picked a restaurant yet? Right?
Very true.
Same thing. So if I ask somebody wants to downsize, if somebody wants to, you know, turn the page in their life to a new page, and they have yet to identify where they're headed, what that destination is, what they want that new page to be, how can they give the professionals that are around them direction, or much less give themselves directions to create that roadmap for them to get there, right? So they need an address, a hypothetical address, right? They don't necessarily have to have the new home selected, but at least they're going to know, yes, we're going to stay within this geographic area, or we're going to go closer to kids, or, you know, I want to be by the water, or I want to move to Mexico. I mean, whatever it is, they need some sort of identification for us to have an A point and a Z point. And then it's easy to help them fill in the rest. You kind of work backwards.
I love it. I love reverse engineering everything.
Yep. And it works beautifully. It works beautifully. And it all starts by asking the right questions.
Nailed it. Love it. Is that what made you want to start a podcast?
So exactly it. You're so right, because I just feel like our office was getting more and more calls. And the question is, I don't know what to do about X, Y, and Z. I don't know what to do. Do we sell first? Do we buy first? Do we sell our home first and then do an auction or an estate sale on our assets? It's always a matter of order and the process, and how should they do it? When should they do it? When is the right time? And all of these things, all these questions that people truly don't know what might be, the best for them to do, creates anxiety. When you don't have a clear answer, it becomes restrictive, it becomes inhibitive, and it stops them from taking greater action. And as we have seen, an extra 1 month or 2 months, on the market for someone, or delaying something could, on a sell side, means that when they go to buy, suddenly the interest rates might have changed, for example. Suddenly, if their payments might jump because they procrastinated or held off, or vice versa. If the market changes slightly and the price that what they were able to sell a property for might kind of change. So I'm always telling people to do what's best for their schedule. We can figure out what works for their timeline. There is no good time or bad time. It's what is the right time for them and their circumstances. Because I want people to feel calm. I want them to feel at peace with this journey because they worked hard. Sean, people have worked hard. It's so beautiful to be invited into somebody's journey, whether even if there's roller coasters in that journey, it's still, everybody has a story. Everybody has a journey. And it's so beautiful to hear about the incredible journey that they have been on, but as well as when they unravel and they, unravel that new canvas that we've handed to them, this blank canvas, and we're like, paint me this new painting, this new picture of what you want your life to look like. It's astonishing. I mean, it's so beautiful to see that this is where they've been, and you feel like you've just read a biography, with the 2 hours that you spend with them, you've gone through their life biography. And it really is a beautiful journey. It's a privilege to be invited into others' conversations and to have a sneak peek into their, where they've been, where they are, and where they're headed. Love it.
Absolutely love it. Like I said, I have listened to all of the episodes, and all of them had great guests and great content, and I learned quite a bit. I thought, I don't think you can ever know everything, but what I needed to know at the time of running my business, I thought I knew it. I thought I had it down, but I learned a couple of things. I was like, that would have been so useful like a decade ago. I'd have made some more money.
Yes, it's incredible. It's incredible, the knowledge. It is incredible when you listen to the right professionals. Share with you what they've learned in the last 30, 40 years. We're talking to mega agents, rock stars in their own field, and they have nothing to gain other than we all want to see the listeners, pick and choose the right professionals and get the right information that they need to make the best decisions for their family and their circumstances. That's really the objective, and to just get rid of the stress level, because truly, it is the cause of a lot of things, of health issues that occur to us. Every time there's a life change, there's a stress, and it doesn't have to be. If we change our mindset, if we change the way we interpret, this is a powerful word, the way that we change how we interpret our circumstances truly changes the outcome that we create for ourselves.
I like that. Yep. Interpretation. Absolutely.
Yep. Thank you.
So your show is available on Apple Podcasts right now. Everybody go search on Apple Podcasts or click the link below under the podcast.apple.com. Click that link. It'll take you right there. If you're an Apple user, go ahead and subscribe to the show. You can absolutely subscribe to Downsizing Your Home and Life Radio right here on Blog Talk Radio Network. Go ahead and search for that show as well right here on Blog Talk Radio. And for the Android users, it will be available, is live on Stitcher, will be available on Pandora and Google Podcasts and iHeartRadio. It takes a minute to get the approval from those platforms, but they're coming. So wherever you listen to podcasts,
We're
make sure
on
that
Stitcher. Yep, it's on Stitcher.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So make sure that you subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and go ahead and leave that rating and review if you're so inclined. But we really want those subscribed. We really want you to become part of the downsizing community. Know somebody that wants to downsize. If you know somebody who's a hoarder, if you know somebody that needs to listen to this show, this is the moment. Tell them about it. Subscribe to it, and we'll take care of all of your downside needs. And as we close the show, I want to know what you have done to elevate the world around you inside the auction business, because I like how you said that you can turn auctions into highly publicized and attended events translated into people's. Are they less worried? Are they less stressed? Do they put faith in you and say, Ann's going to take care of it? Like how have you elevated that world?
So there's a couple of different layers to the onion of the auction that we're involved in. One is, of course, the personal assets or the real estate. Obviously, we work for sellers. So we're able to help families do what they need and help them sell the assets that they want. And they control the date. Very different from a listing where they kind of put the sign in the yard and wait for a property, for a buyer to come.
Mm-hmm.
It could be today or it could be 6 months or, 9 months from now, right? But with the auction process, we empower our sellers because we work with them to select the date and we work backwards. So we market the event. We have top marketing awards. We won the USA Today Marketing Award from the National Auctioneers Association last year for our fabulous marketing. And
wow.
That way we're able to elevate, and help sellers get their message out in front of as many people as possible and really shorten that length of time. Instead of them waiting, we empower our sellers by picking the date for the auction, and then we spread the message out to the entire community, locally, nationally, internationally, getting the word out that we're selling this piece of real estate at auction or selling this collection of fine arts or jewelry. We did recently a jewelry auction. Her husband, they had a horse racing farm, and her husband over the years had beautiful custom jewelry created for her that had a horse motif with fabulous diamonds and so forth. But she's just like, I don't use them. I'm just tired of going to the bank to check on my stuff because I don't want that responsibility. I've enjoyed it, and it brings people joy to pass it on to the next generation and to sell it and to see it being used and enjoyed again and giving their items life again, right? So that's part of the joy, and that really brings us great joy, right? Helping someone make the decision and then watching that excitement when somebody buys the item. It could be a $50 item or it could be a $50,000 item. It's such a wonderful experience to see buyers and to see that kind of the loop to continue, right? And the giving to move forward. As well as, I started in the auction business because of helping nonprofits. That's why I went to auction school. And I'm the president of my daughter was a violinist, and I served on the board. And after several years, I was asked to serve as the president. But it's such a pleasure. It's such a joy to help nonprofits and to help the community and to raise the needed funds to be an ambassador for different organizations and to be the voice of the organization and to bring awareness and to bring the good that the message of that organization is. There's nothing that gives you more energy to get up in the morning than the thought that, wow, we're going to make this kind of impact today by conducting this auction or this fundraising. We're going to be able to help sometimes thousands and tens of thousands of people through one night's event that we might consult organizations on for months in advance, for that one night event. But it really, nothing makes my heart more full and more, just the joy that is experienced from all of this collectively. And it really becomes full circle because there's many layers to the onion that we're involved in.
Love it. Rock star. That's all I got to say. Rock star.
You're amazing. Thank you, Sean. And thank you to your listeners. I can't wait to be able to share, additional, the conversation and to share our guests and the content that we have for them to help them simplify their journey.
Absolutely. And I'm stoked for you, happy for you, excited for you, loved working on this. It was a labor of love. And
can I just interject here, Sean? You're so amazing.
Yeah.
You're so humble. You're so freaking knowledgeable about so many things that you just blow my mind. I'm a hard worker, and I'm involved in a lot of different projects, and I love that, next shiny red object. And if I give my attention to something, it's 100%. And I'll be working at 11, 12, 1 a.m. and I'll send an email so I don't forget in the morning. And holy cow, bing, I sent it, and 30 seconds later there's a response back. I'm like, there's another crazy in this world. Just like I am, and his name is Sean. And I have the good fortune of collaborating and working with him because our texts and our emails go back and forth from all hours of the night and day. And it's just such a joy to see that, you have beautiful children, a beautiful family. You serve our country, and you're the whole package. You are the whole package. And it's just such a joy to be able to collaborate with you and for you to share your expertise in helping us establish and grow our vision.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I'm going to need you to repeat that one more time, the whole thing in its entirety. I want to put my wife on the line. So let her know, right? Because I tell her all the time, but she doesn't believe me.
I'm going to send her a message. There's a little blue subscribe button on your phone for Transformational Life Radio. But congrats to you, your future, and your listeners, and all the people that you touch. It's a huge commitment for our listeners that don't know, for you to be on air every day and to deliver and to hit it out of the park day after day. Yeah. My friend, you are one awesome badass, and proud to call you a colleague. And I thank you for everything that you do for myself and my family as well.
Much. Thank you. At the close of the show, what do you want to leave the listeners with? If they only listen to this moment, what's your message to the listeners?
I want them to close their eyes, and I want them to envision me handing them an 8x10 canvas with a set of brushes, with a set of paint, and saying, here, please go home tonight and spend the rest of the week creating for yourself what you want this new canvas for your life to look like. I want you to open up your memo pad on your phone. If there's something that inspires you, click a picture. If you like a meal, take a picture. If you walk into a furniture store, if you love that sofa, take a picture of it. If you love, a particular style of home, take a picture of it. And incorporate all of those things into one file, and let's create your future and your future vision board of how you want it to look like, from what you're eating to how you're dressing to what you're surrounded by, and it could be all of the details. And you can create that mental vision, that mental image, because once you have the clarity, everything else just sheds. All of that pain, all of that burden shifts. All of the stuff that we don't want to do is now becomes exciting, because once you accomplish that task, it's going to allow you to become one step closer to your new painting, your new vision, and this new image that you have for your life and yourself, that it's exciting. It's absolutely exciting. So I'm excited for your listeners. and the new vision that they are looking to create. And I would love to hear from them. If they visit thedownsizingcoach.com, we have a little box, and you can send us a message. Share with me what your vision, your dreams are, because nothing gives me more joy than to see that you're thinking our listeners are thinking ahead as to what they would like their new life to look like.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It has absolutely been an honor to have you on the other side of the mic, because you're going to be crushing it on the host side of the mic. So it's like awesome to have you as a guest and as a host. Super cool.
I'm so appreciative. Thank you so much to your listeners. Please do subscribe. We would be honored to have them as listeners, and we look forward to answering their questions about their downsizing journey, regardless of where they are nationwide.
There you go. Love it. Thanks so much again for coming on the show. This is an honor.
Thank you so much, Sean, for having me. Wishing you a blessed day.
Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest impacting the world around her, and resonated with you and piqued your interest. Please go to the Downsizing Coach. Check out what she's doing. Go ahead and search for her on Apple, or click the link below and subscribe. Downsizing Your Home and Life radio show is absolutely incredible. It is an amazing show for all of your downsizing needs. And with that, I close the show by saying, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold in your heart. And I call them living your brand. So until next episode,